Hey everybody, Yvonne DiVita from BlogPaws here. And as we get closer and closer to the Phoenix event, I am talking to more and more of our speakers. Today I have Buzz Miller with me, and Buzz is going to tell us a little bit about himself in a minute, but I want you to know that this man is so passionate about what he does, and he has spent so much time and energy rescuing dogs that I'm just amazed, and I'm just so proud that he is going to be coming to BlogPaws. Buzz, tell us about who you are and what you do.
Basically, I did a 180-degree turn in my life. I practiced business law, corporation work, securities, real estate, tax for about 35 years. And as the years went by, I kept saying to myself, I really want to spend time with animals. It goes back to having birthday parties at the Philadelphia Zoo when I was a 6-8-year-old child and always being in love with animals. So about 10, 11 years ago, I slowly dissolved the law practice and slowly evolved myself full-time in what I call the human-animal bond. The work I've done not only in every instance saves the lives of animals, it educates human beings how to live a better, happier life for themselves, with the animals, and also for the animals. So we simultaneously create a situation that people appreciate, spend more intensive, happy time with their animals, and the animals live in wonderful homes because of this bonding situation that, thank God, in the last 30 years since I've been rescuing animals, even when I was a full-time lawyer, was an evolving movement to the positive where things are being done now. Dogs sniffing out cancer, dogs being with children and adults at exams, things like that. I'm not going to get into all that, but it has been a very positive evolvement. When I gave up the practice of law, lectured at a lot of local law schools, taught a lot of seminars on everything involving the human-animal bond. In fact, my wife and I opened a retail pet store that realistically was somewhat of a nonprofit. We were the most socially oriented pet store in the country because we did free adoptions the last couple of years it was open. My wife primarily did almost 2,000 adoptions.
Wow.
Primarily by herself. We did not charge. So that was an advantage we had, but it was labor intensive. And we paid people to help with that in the store. The other thing was I ran at least 40 seminars on subjects such as bereavement counseling, good foods, anti-puppy mills, pro-pit bulls, training. Now, I will not claim to be an expert in any of those subjects, but I had experts come from as far as New York, Washington, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, and there were lawyers, veterinarians, book authors, and they talked about these subjects. In fact, I was amazed because out of about 40 seminars, no one ever asked for a nickel. And these were authorities in their fields.
Excellent.
And I had to sell the store. I sold it last December. We never made a penny out of it. But I was so involved with my latest project that began about 4 years ago, PAC. I'm working 7 days a week on it, and my wife and I had no time to even oversee the store. So we basically gave it away to another local pet store chain. And now I'm spending all my time with PAC. PAC basically, because no one else in the country is solving this need, we foster long-term, average 7-8 months, companion animals, principally dogs, some cats, for the U.S. military all over the world. We've had animals driven and flown here from as far as California, Texas, Arizona, Florida, up and down the East Coast, throughout the Midwest. We have about 200 foster homes that we have spent time in, checked their capability with their own veterinarians, got other references. They foster them for nothing. We charge nothing to do this service. We also now foster for the top children's hospital in the country called CHOP. We foster for all the children's hospitals in our part of the country, all the veterans hospitals, and a lot of adult hospitals, because sometimes they're in the hospital without anyone to take care of their animals. With the kids, and the kids have things like brain cancer, leukemia, major heart surgery. The parents are in a Ronald McDonald house, and the kid is in the hospital. No one's home to take care of the animal, and we only come in if they have nobody else to take care of the animal, and if their choice is a shelter or us, hopefully, because in a shelter there's only two exits. One is adoption, but they'll never see the animal. The other exit is going to heaven, and obviously they'll never see the animal. So that's where we come in. But we increase our numbers every year. People more and more hear about us, so that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know that when you're at BlogPaws, people will love to hear about that. In fact, at BlogPaws, one of the things that you're going to do is a session on how to start a nonprofit, because that's what you did. You turned this into a nonprofit. And I was eager to have people learn what that means. It's not like you go down to the courtroom and get a piece of paper and fill it out. There's a whole lot more to it than that.
There's a whole lot more. That technical end from a legal viewpoint or from a non-legal viewpoint is not the most exciting subject, but I hope to make it exciting, because one thing I will do is tell a lot of the mistakes I made, because my prior career was as a business lawyer. I worked with tons of shelters and other nonprofits, but I was never involved from the business end or the legal end. And I will talk about what I went through, the forms they need. I will give a lot of ways they could get it formed for relatively cheap. Person not making a lot of money can actually form a nonprofit. I will give them a lot of legitimate shortcuts. None of us, including me, will ever be, or would be nice, but I don't think any of us will be the American Cancer Society with thousands of employees and so on. So there are ways you can minimize your costs, minimize government forms, and these are some of the things I'm going to talk about. There is one thing I want to stress, and this is from my 35-year business career and my 10, 11, 12 years, whatever it is, in the human-animal bond world. I have learned personally the most important thing in anything you're involved in is working with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Looked at the things that have failed, have been aggravation. I'm going back through a 45-year career, the things that have succeeded. You really need a team, and you need a team of good people with the same drive. If it's in the business world, it's to make money legitimately. If it's in the nonprofit world, it's to succeed on your mission. And you really have to be in there as a team with hopefully the right people. I've made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes myself. I'm definitely not perfect. But the point is that even running this nonprofit, we'll get into how you want to hopefully pick the right people, because it makes your life so much.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that, you know, in the world of human-animal bond research and support and the things that really, really tug at my heart, the fact that we should never lose sight of the people, because pets are wonderful. We all love them, but people are the ones that do the work. People are the ones that feed the pets and take care of the pets. People are the ones that buy the products. And so I tell the sponsors and the speakers and the people that come to BlogPaws that the very first thing I want you to do is understand these bloggers are people. These bloggers are passionate people about the human-animal bond, about the things that they care about. But when you relate to them on a people level, then you can encompass everything they do in the pet world also. But without understanding them as people first, it puts a barrier up.
Well, our end of the nonprofit, and it doesn't need to be because we're the only ones that do this. I created it because no one else in the country was solving this need the way we do it, and it horrified me that no government agency was helping. But the point is that I stress them all the time, relationships. We have a doggy daycare that has taken in for anywhere from a couple days up to 4 months foster dogs that for various circumstances had to be in the doggy daycare waiting for a home to open up or something. And she has never charged us. And this woman makes maybe 40 to 60,000 a year. It's not where she's wealthy. We have had at least 20 dogs there in the last couple of years. She refuses to charge us because she believes in our mission. Mm-hmm. We have one veterinarian. We have several we work with. They have to give us at least a 20% discount, and they have to be top rated. And it's all these relationships that I know we have limited time now that you need to form. It doesn't need to be our organization. It could be somebody that's anti-puppy mill, and that's their whole campaign. Pro-pit bull, that there's tons of groups throughout the country. It doesn't matter what it is. You're working with people. You need favors from these people. You have to convince them you're honest, you're straight, you really care, you're not a phony, and so on. It's the most important thing, even when I practice law. And a lot of lawyers have bad reputations, bad names, and they gouge the public, they gouge their clients. It's not the most favored profession, but there are a bunch of honest lawyers out there. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones that do the best because their reputations carry them. So,
Wow.
that I want to stress because it doesn't matter what you're involved in. But I've seen the same people problems to a certain degree, even in the nonprofit I have and the nonprofits I deal with, which are rescues and so on. So these are some of the things that I want to give the students the benefit of my 45 years in the real world.
Yeah, I want them to have that also because I know they're very passionate about working with the shelters and rescues, and some of them may want to start one of their own, and maybe the answer isn't that. Maybe the answer is work with one in your area. But I'm going to let you handle that at BlogPaws. It's going to be a great session. We have limited time left for our interview. Tell me a little bit about your pet project right now.
Well, if my wife doesn't shoot me someday because my pet project is packed that I spoke about, because you have to realize this. There is no time limit when animals are being forced to have a problem. We've had them digest poisonous items at 3 a.m. They've called. We've had them go to the closest 24/7 vet. Practically, I'd say 2/3 of 24/7 vets within 50 miles of our main office, which is in my house, work with us. And they'll take them in, obviously, at 3 a.m., 5 a.m. They'll give us a discount and so on. But it's almost a 24/7 business. I love it, but I do need some time off because my wife and I have been together for about 30 years. We live in the same house. I can't tell you how little she sees me. I basically have to sleep them in this office, and we haven't had a real vacation because I'm on the computer and the cell phone no matter where we go in the country, and I won't go outside the country because of the technological communication. So I love what...
Well, we're going to have to end today, but we did hear from Buzz Miller, who's doing How to Start a Nonprofit at BlogPaws. And thank you, Buzz, for being part of the interview today.